What's good, everybody? We are back with a fair shake review, and this time we're going to be talking about Tech9's Asin9ne. This is a project marking Tech9's 50 years of age. Like, what? And he's still out here killing it? Like, what? But yeah, Tech9 is a dude who just never stops. Like every year, he's dropping projects like clockwork. He's just always been going at it. And over the years, I could say it could be a little bit hit or miss for me. And that's something that I feel was somewhat rectified in a good amount of this project, which makes me happy to be able to say. So, starting off, let's start looking into. Da, 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 da. We got the starting off with The Herder. And this one, he's just really kind of talking about how he's been proving all the artists that he's pushed to bring their best in their collaborations, especially because Tech9 has just been rapping at a level that is like at that very very high ceiling of rap skill and technicality that everyone who ends up getting on a track with him always has to bring their A game. Otherwise, they know they're going to have their head hanging down in shame. Or maybe not, because I don't think Logic was ashamed of what he did. But he's probably one of the few that didn't bring their A game and on a Tech song. But regardless, this one Tech just kind of goes hard and shows off like this is why I'm dope, and this is why everybody has to step the game up whenever they're on a track with me. And I thought it was a pretty nice strong intro. The second track, I Don't Fit, still going in there and just talking about how it's hard for him to fit in the game, and how basically it's like I need more lanes, I still don't fit. I can do everything. And to me, this was just like a freaking technical wonder of a show. Like this here, like the rapping displayed here, especially on the chopping side, it was just at its finest. And it makes me super super proud to be able to say that not only did Tech come through ripping it, King ISO also came through ripping it with the chopping, but Seuss Mace, yeah, the dude I've reviewed here before, the homeboy from Topeka, yes, family friend, was on this song with Tech9, and he's been a long lover of Tech, one of his idols, and to hear him on a track with him and just ripping it to shreds, and not even like having too much of the I love Tech. He did throw his props in there, but it was still just mainly him ripping junk on the topic of how the style just doesn't fit, and the skill set, the talent that they're able to bring to the thing just doesn't fit in the typical lane of hip hop. Just was stellar stuff, and everybody came through swinging. Then Kicketer, this one here, man, it's just like I literally have two words on here: banger and rager. This mug just goes hard. This one was a single actually, and I just thought I was like, yo, this mug goes super hard. Like this is like that. Yes, get it. And it was just a really fun track to listen to, even though he seems to be making sure he's kicking away some of those girlies that could get him in trouble. And next up we got Too Good with Moo Fresh. I thought this one was also super smooth. Loved this song. Tech really showed his creativity with the patterns once again. Like the flow patterns he had on here, I was like, how do you keep finding new ways to flow these words, bro? And then Lil Wayne is also on this mug. He was going off with the punchlines. Like Wayne is like getting back in that zone lately, and I'm all for it. Like this was like classic Wayne here to me, and I was loving every bit of it. And then Moo Fresh also just really did really great with the singing. She really got to show off. Like I mentioned before, the production on this one was super smooth, and it just like gave a lot of space for every single one of these artists to kind of do their thing and have the free open, like nothing got in the way of what they needed to do to show off. Like and I dig that. Then No Seams with featuring Snow the Product and Russ on the hook. Russ's tone was perfect for the chorus. Like I was actually a bit surprised that he didn't end up getting a verse on here, but even just having Russ on the chorus was ill. It fit perfectly for his kind of the mindset that Russ ends up having, and just seeing them completely talk about this topic of this is like, you know, all these people who always want to criticize, you know, how I'm doing this art, but you never see them out. You never see them actually doing this big tours, never see them out doing shows, you never see them really making the hot music everybody's listening to. Like you never see them putting in the work. And Tech, Snow, and Russ have definitely been doing that, and the way Tech and Snow bring that across in their verses was great. Next up, we get to Face Off, and this one is just straight up like about fighting. And it has Joey Cool, King ISO on there, chopping along with Tech, just about, you know, really, you know, getting ready to fist fight and everything. But then you also have Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Yes, he's also on this. I'm sure many of you may have already known if you're checking out this review, but yeah, The Rock came through rapping, and he actually didn't do really bad. Like he even you know sped up a little bit. He had a little help. I think he had a little help with the ad libs, because I'm pretty sure Tech was also doubling, if not only him, on some of the ad libs on there. But yeah, the Rock actually he did pretty good. I was like, oh snap. Not bad, man. I mean, he only did like 8 bars, I believe. It was definitely the shortest verse on the whole song, but I mean, it went in. Definitely like something that you could pump your weights to. That's how it felt like to me. But yeah, pretty cool. Then we get to Clydesdale. What a concept, man. Like it makes perfect sense for E40 to be on a song like this. Like it definitely sounds like something that even he would have came up with, something from the Bay. Just talking about a woman with the posterior of a horse, or Clydesdale. And yeah, to hear Tech and E40 go in on this, it's just another just kind of fun party track that I definitely get a kick out of. I don't know if I'd listen to it all the time, but for here and there it would be fun. And then, you know, E40 just always has his own kind of flow. Like it's so unorthodox that you can't just be like, yeah, that's E40. Like no one can imitate E40 to me. The only thing they could ever imitate, the only thing that I think they could ever imitate is maybe his voice, but they can never imitate the flow. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. That was terrible. But up next you got Still Right Here with X-Rated, Garrett Raff, and Simeon. On this one, I am not particularly sure who did what, because I'm unfamiliar with the featured artist, but I thought that all the verses on this one was really, really strong, you know, showcasing their story and the longevity that they were able to have in the industry, dealing with all the different hardships they had in life and also career and such. And I thought the poetry at the very end was great. Like this was a fantastic track here. Then Take Your Halo, I feel is just like the double crossing anthem, and I actually wasn't expecting as many straight up call outs from the people that he felt double crossed him. So that was interesting to listen to, and this is around the point where I start not liking as many of the tracks, but there's still good tracks in here regardless. So Take Your Halo is one that I just wouldn't necessarily come back to a whole lot. Then up next we got Knock That Noodle with Marley Young, and this one is just straight up street violence, bro. Just all about street violence, and it's hard. It's hard, but not one I'm gonna be listening to a lot. Even with Heightened, I thought was an interesting little story for the horror fans, of people who love Tech N9ne on his horrorcore stuff, and him just kind of talking about some of the things that seem to click on his mind as he gets older, the disturbing thoughts that he ends up having, and that goes in very easily into what rhymes with Threadokilia, with Scarecrow, what was it again? I don't have the full name. Plague, this Grimstress. Yeah, so this one kind of deals with, I guess, what they'll end up doing to pedophiles, and it's extremely violent, very gory, and for the folks who love that more of that horrorcore stuff, that's right here. Then up next you got I've Been Through a Lot with Stige, or Stige, I don't know how you pronounce it, but this one here I thought was some more struggle talk, dealing with talking about the different problems you end up having in life and such. But this one didn't quite pique my interest as much as some of the other ones did. Then you get Dial It Back with Nave Manjo. Like, Nave just comes through with all these choruses with Tech that just make you go, I think I'm gonna like this. And I did, which they actually find interesting, because I feel like it kind of talks a little bit about me, because in this song Tech is kind of responding to the criticism of himself, basking basically in his successes a little too much. I have criticized him a little bit of that, where a lot of it is just like, hey, I've been doing this junk for forever. I'm killing this way better than you guys, and we out here winning, homeboy. Ain't no way you can box me in. And just the way it was delivered was just not quite as interesting to me. So basically, on this track, he told me he was gonna dial it back for us. And even though it's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek kind of diss, almost a la kind of like M has done on a couple of the projects, where he just straight up goes at the critics. I feel like this one was actually kind of good. I liked the kind of like backhanded, so me talking about how great things have been, and me just celebrating that and feeling good about it. I'm sorry that makes you feel bad. I'm gonna dial it back a bit, like that little tongue-in-cheek kind of talk on it should be demeaning to me, but I like it. Like, I liked it. Being a person who's had that to say about some of the Tech's more recent work, I have to just be quiet and eat that, But I dug that track. Up next is Zaza with Marcus Yates. And to be honest, I didn't know that Marcus could sing like that. Like, I never recalled him really singing like that before in any of the features he's had before. But I guess I should have checked out his own material itself, but this one was a little bit more melodic on it, and it's one of them sex songs, which I typically enjoy from Tech, but this time not quite. But it was cool and interesting. The vocal effect they decided to put on Tech's singing on this one, and I thought that was interesting. But the song itself was just not one I'd find myself returning to a lot. Up next is Close Your Eyes with Kiddo Eye. I think that's how you pronounce it. And this is another good personification song done very well by Tech. I won't say what it's personifying, but it's a nice little story. You listen along and then you're able to figure out what he's talking about. And I thought it was pretty good. Not one of his best, but it's still good. Special with Asin9ne is another motivational ending for the project. He's done this before on other projects where he's just talking about, hey, you know, good things are gonna come. We're looking for good things. I'm hoping for good things for everybody out there. Wishing the best. This one here is just, hey, everybody's special. Everybody's got their own thing. So just, don't listen to the haters. Do what you got to do to get where you need to be. And this time it just didn't quite connect with me. It just kind of sounded almost logic-ish. When he's on that tip, sometimes it just comes off a little preachy, and it's just not as, it doesn't seem as, even though I know it's genuine for Tech to feel that way, it just doesn't sound that motivating in my ears. But there are definitely going to be people out there who do listen to it and are able to buy into what he's saying. But maybe me just being an older individual and being jaded and such, it just kind of falls on deaf ears over here. But I still feel like it was a nice topic choice to end off the project, especially after 50 years of life in this hip-hop junk. But yeah, overall, I feel like this album was almost like a return to form, because a lot of the production on this, I felt, brought back some of that old Strange music kind of feel, and I really enjoy that. Like, I know that Tech puts a lot of effort into each one of his projects, but I feel like with this one he definitely tried to make it feel special, and I think he even tried to have a bit of like stuff that some of the older fans could enjoy, and at least that's how I felt, since not everything ended up having like a little bit, well, an overly kind of mainstream appeal to it, because I feel like a lot of his newer material, not that I don't like some of those songs, but some of the songs were just like a little bit less different than what you typically hear in the hip hop space, and with this one I feel like he got to make himself sound a bit different than everyone else on a little bit more of the tracks, which is something that I can always get behind, because I always love the creativity that Tech9ne has, and the different sounds that he ends up going over. So I was definitely pleased a little bit more with the first half of the project than the rest of the project. But even though I liked more songs at the beginning, while getting towards the end, I didn't feel like the project was dragging at all. So I think that's another thing to give props to, because tech projects can be long. I mean, this is still an hour-long project, a little over an hour, but it didn't feel like I was like, oh, when is this gonna be over? And I feel like I could get that way with some of the tech projects of late, but this one is not one of them. And I just gotta say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. No, no, but Asin9ne was pretty good. It's a pretty decent tech project. Definitely a lot of stuff on here that I really enjoyed that I'll be coming back to. A lot of stuff that I feel like strange music folks can really, really dig into and enjoy. Just so didn't quite match me, but I'm used to that with tech. Will always just be in awe of the technical ability on display and the different kinds of beats he ends up deciding to hop upon as well. So that is something that I always can acknowledge and say, hey man, he's dope, it's good, but just not everything is for me. But I want to know what you guys think down below, so please let me know. And I'd be reading those comments and responding. If you enjoyed the video, you can hit the like button if you're on YouTube. You can subscribe if you're wanting to see more reviews and reactions here on the channel. And also, just so you guys know, I do have a Patreon. So if you'd like to see the content that I end up putting there for the patrons, it is a lot of reaction videos mostly, but I do some behind the scenes content every once in a while. If that's something that interests you, then you can go ahead and check that out there. But yeah, until next time, much love, peace.